Delphine Assewell Jubiar, born on November 15, 1987 in Gaillac, France, was a nurse residing in Canac-les-Mines. At 33 years old, she worked night shifts at a medical clinic. Married to Cedric Jubiar, a self-employed painter and educator, since July 2013, they had 2 children, a 6-year-old boy and a 1 year and 4 months old girl at the time of the events. Delphine had decided to pursue a divorce in mid-2020, with the details undisclosed to the public, but her lawyer indicated that it would be a mutual agreement between the couple. However, before the divorce proceedings could take place, an incident occurred in late December of the same year. On the morning of December 16, 2020, Cedric contacted the police to report his wife missing. Around 4 a.m. that day, Cedric messaged a friend of Delphine, believing she was with her. The friend confirmed that Delphine was not in her company. With the day breaking, Cedric decided to inform the police that Delphine had left their home sometime between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. She had been wearing a white jacket and had only taken her cell phone without disclosing her destination, except mentioning that she was going to see the same friend Cedric had contacted. The police promptly responded to Cedric's call, initiating an investigation and deploying a search team consisting of sniffer dogs, drones, helicopters, and numerous agents. Within 7 days of her disappearance, on December 23rd, approximately 1,000 individuals, including Cedric, combed through the city's mountainous terrain in search of Delphine. During these searches, the team discovered some of Delphine's personal belongings, including her cell phone, a knife, and clothing items. The police found these items, leading them to suspect that Delphine had become a crime victim. On December 23rd, a police inquiry was initiated, and the case was transferred to a French court. Detectives searched Cedric's house on December 24th for any evidence relevant to solving the disappearance. According to authorities, Delphine's cell phone ceased transmitting signals on the morning of December 16, approximately 2 kilometers away from her home. The phone's last call occurred at 10:55 p.m., followed by a voicemail received at 7:48 a.m. the next day. Curiously, investigators discovered that the flashlight on Delphine's phone had not been activated that night, despite being in complete darkness. This strengthened the belief that she had been forcibly taken by someone who attempted to dispose of her belongings in that location. Considering the absence of lighting in the area where the belongings were found, it seemed implausible for Delphine to have reached there without using her cell phone's flashlight. Consequently, the police concluded that someone else had brought her there before vanishing with her. Furthermore, the fact that Delphine's car remained in the garage supported the theory that she had been abducted by another individual. It seemed unlikely that she would willingly leave without her car, let alone without her personal belongings. Nearly a month after her disappearance, on January 13, 2021, an empty message was posted on Delphine's Facebook account. This raised suspicion since Cedric claimed her account had double verification and that only she knew the passwords and codes. Detectives contemplated 3 hypotheses: a potential application glitch, hacking, or a malfunction resulting from investigations into Delphine's cell phone. Among these possibilities, hacking appeared to be the most plausible hypothesis, according to investigators. On February 9, Delphine's cell phone spontaneously reactivated and began functioning autonomously. Up until then, authorities lacked a logical explanation for this. When they investigated the suspected hacking, no evidence of his involvement was found. During a subsequent press conference, the case's prosecutor suggested that these reactivations were technical consequences of the detectives' device searches, confirmed by representatives from Samsung, Delphine's cell phone brand. During the investigation, police discovered that Delphine frequently communicated with a man via social media. The man was questioned but proved he was at his house throughout the night when Delphine went missing, eliminating him as a suspect. Police also found that Delphine and this man were in a committed relationship and had plans to live together. On the night of her disappearance, Delphine allegedly sent him a sensual photo in her night attire. Another man was interviewed by the police, having previously been convicted for a car accident involving Cedric and Delphine. He denied any involvement in Delphine's disappearance, and although the police suspected possible revenge, lack of evidence ruled him out as a suspect. Neighborhood residents informed the police of a suspicious motorhome parked near Delphine's house in the day leading up to her disappearance. The owner of the vehicle was located and questioned by detectives, but no connection to the case was found. As months passed, the search for Delphine persisted. Specialized teams were deployed by the police to search the region's caves. Additionally, Delphine's friends organized search parties in hope of finding clues to locate her. These searches were challenging due to the mountainous and rugged terrain, requiring considerable effort. In December 2021, 1 year after her disappearance, detectives grew suspicious of a particular individual and embarked on a new line of investigation. The person in question, Kathy, was the wife of Delphine's lover. They had exchanged messages and planned to live together. It was discovered by the police that Kathy intercepted an SMS sent to Delphine by her husband on the day before she went missing. Kathy confronted her husband and then contacted Delphine to discuss the situation. During the conversation, Kathy and Delphine agreed that Delphine would wait for Kathy's separation from her husband, which was scheduled for January 2021, before continuing the relationship. However, that same night, Delphine broke the agreement by sending a sensual photo to Kathy's husband, which greatly angered Kathy. In addition, the police found that Kathy had made 145 calls to an unknown number the day before Delphine disappeared. Despite this information, there was no other evidence implicating Kathy as a potential suspect in the case. As for Delphine's husband, Cedric, the police did suspect him. On June 16, 2021, Cedric was arrested and indicted for allegedly causing his wife's disappearance and disposing of her body. His current partner, whose identity remains undisclosed, was also arrested, but was released a few days later due to lack of evidence connecting her to the crime. During a press conference, the prosecutor in charge of the case shared some details of the investigation that led to Cedric's arrest. Two witnesses, who were neighbors of the couple, reported hearing a woman's screams, presumably Delphine, around 11 p.m. on December 15, 2020. This aligns with the statement of the couple's eldest son, aged 6, who informed the police about a heated argument between his parents on that night. Detectives suspected that Delphine's car was moved during the night she disappeared. The car was parked in the opposite direction of Delphine's usual parking spot, and there was condensation inside, indicating recent human presence, according to an expert. When the officers initially visited the couple's home, Delphine's car keys were found in one of her purses inside the house. Police also questioned Cedric's behavior upon learning about his wife's disappearance. Investigation revealed that analysis of Cedric's cell phone indicated he had only taken around 40 steps in his house from the moment he noticed his wife's absence until the police arrived. In comparison, during a quick search in and around the house with the officers present, Cedric took 380 steps. This implied that he didn't make an effort to search for her around the house and its boundaries, appearing unconcerned. Cedric explained this by stating he didn't want to disturb the neighbors by searching outside the house. Upon further analysis, the police discovered that Cedric had actually taken at least 300 steps before the police arrived. However, this was still considered minimal for a husband supposedly worried about his missing wife. Detectives also noted another peculiar behavior by Cedric. They found that he contacted the authorities 15 minutes after waking up and had attempted to reach his wife 180 times prior to that. This behavior was deemed abnormal by the police, who had experience with disappearance cases and suspected it was contrived. Furthermore, detectives were surprised by how quickly Cedric expressed remorse for a crime against his wife, implying he knew what had happened to her. In their conversations with him, Cedric sometimes contradicted himself, and his explanations didn't align with the evidence collected from his home. On June 22, 2021, the couple's home was searched again with Cedric present. This time, the police found and collected a USB key and memory cards from Delphine's cell phone. During this search, the couple's children stayed with Delphine's sister. Despite extensive efforts by authorities in the following months, no progress was made in locating Delphine. No clues regarding her whereabouts were uncovered. However, on January 17, 2022, excavations were conducted on a burned-out farm from April 2021. The police acted on information provided by a former cellmate of Cedric's, who claimed that Cedric had used the location to kill Delphine with a knife and bury her body there. The cellmate alleged that Cedric himself had confessed to the crime. Despite these claims and subsequent excavations, no evidence was found on the site. On January 24, 2022, a neighbor of the couple appeared on a TV program and recounted seeing Cedric leaving during the night on the day Delphine disappeared. Cedric, upon realizing he had been observed, appeared to be concealing something. On December 13, 2022, the police re-examined the case, aiming to gain a comprehensive understanding of the events and identify any overlooked information that could aid on finding Delphine. The passage of time made the investigations increasingly challenging, partly due to sensationalism surrounding the case. Delphine Jubilar's disappearance gained substantial media attention and prompted public engagement on social media, with individuals, journalists, and the police joining forces to assist investigations. Online platforms, particularly Facebook groups, saw the involvement of amateur detectives who shared information, developed theories, and pointed out potential suspects. By the end of June 2021, one such group had amassed over 8,000 members. Delphine's case drew comparisons to the Duval case in France, where a husband murdered his wife, concealed her body, and participated in the search before confessing to the crime. The intrigue surrounding the enigmatic nature of the case, inconsistencies in the reported facts, and the relatability of the couple to the public case contributed to the media and public's fervent interest, coinciding in the heightened societal attention to spousal crimes, as noted by journalists in criminal cases specialist Montgomery. Regarding anthropologist Lucie Jouvet-Legrand from the University of France-Comté, unresolved cases offer opportunities for social connections on social networks and the formation of various theories. However, Delphine's lawyers and family members consider these amateur detectives more of a hindrance than help during investigations. They express concerns that the police handling the case might be influenced by non-professionals' internet comments, potentially impacting their decision-making. Experts also caution against the involvement of too many individuals in the case, as it increases the risk of spreading false information and baseless accusations. Subsequently, Cedric appeared in court of his initial hearing, maintaining his innocence and denying any involvement in his wife's disappearance. His lawyers argued that the evidence against him was vague and intended to file for his release. However, the request was rejected by the Court of Appeal of Toulouse a few days later. Cedric's legal team criticized his detention conditions, claiming his rights were violated, particularly due to his isolation. Although Cedric's lawyers asserted his innocence, Delphine's family members believed otherwise, suspecting that he possessed at least some information about her whereabouts. As part of the investigation, a 35-page personal survey was conducted on Cedric, involving interviews with approximately 40 people, including Cedric himself. The report described him as a manipulative, presumptuous, and deceitful man, while acknowledging his hard-working nature and a troubled childhood spent in orphanages. Mental health experts characterized Cedric as emotionally immature and having a strong fear of rejection, likely stemming from his difficult upbringing and relationship challenges. In adulthood, Cedric faced behavioral issues within his family, marriage, and society as a whole. His troubled childhood experiences had a significant impact on his life. From birth, he was abandoned and placed in an orphanage, later moving between 3 foster families, feeling like he didn't belong. Psychiatrists noted his immaturity, particularly in emotional matters, but found no signs of malicious intent. Overall, he was described as someone desperately searching for a secure place to call home, plagued by feelings of rejections and inferiority. Being a plasterer, where his wife worked as well-paid nurse, contributed to the sense of inadequacy. The investigation, which began in December 2022, is progressing towards its conclusion. Currently, the focus is on examining the internet activities through the couple's Wi-Fi to gain insights into Delphine's recent online actions. As part of the investigation, a DNA analysis was conducted on a strand of human hair discovered in a friend's vehicle belonging to Cedric. Unfortunately, only one hair strand had enough DNA for analysis, while others proved insufficient. Nonetheless, the analysis failed to prove Delphine's presence in the vehicle, indicating that the hair belonged to someone else. Previously, detectives examined blood traces found in the same vehicle, but no definitive evidence was found. Despite the lack of concrete proof, Cedric's legal team consistently maintains his innocence, dismissing the entire case as a fabrication. However, the police have suspicions that Cedric potentially transported his wife's body in a car after potentially causing her harm. These suspicions stem from the testimony of a former cellmate who claimed that Cedric admitted he would use a white car for such a task, coinciding with the color of the friend's car analyzed by the police. Cedric consistently denied all allegations and claimed he never discussed the matter with his former cellmate. Due to the car owner's habit of leaving the vehicle unlocked with the key in the ignition, the police suspect it may have been used during the night of December 15 to 16, 2020. Another vehicle that could have been involved is Delphine's own Peugeot 207, which witnesses noticed parked differently than usual. The prosecution asserts reliance on a body of compelling evidence despite the absence of a body, confession or crime scene. They aim to hold a trial within a year or year and a half, with Cedric remaining in prison based on crime reenactments and extensive investigations that point him to be the perpetrator. While the police debate the responsibility for the crime, those close to Delphine still hold hope of finding her alive. In March 2023, friends of Delphine made a Facebook post mobilizing people for final searches before the police officially closed the investigation. They plan to be in the field every day from March 13 onwards in their ongoing efforts, driven by determination despite limited resources. According to friends, Delphine was a devoted mother who cherished her children and would never willingly abandon them. They described her as kind, nurturing, and loving. The friends expressed frustration with the slow progress of the investigation, which has spanned over 2 years. Regarding Cedric's arrest, they emphasized that he is the primary suspect and not detained for personal pleasure or detective incompetence. In March 2023, Cedric's 7th attempt to secure release from prison was once again denied. And so concludes the story of Delphine Jubiler, a woman who has been missing for over 2 years in a case filled with unanswered questions and unsolved matters. Alright folks, that's it for today. Thanks for watching until the end, best wishes, and I'll see you next time.